Hello and welcome back to Simple Shakespeare. I'm Sarah and we're going to dive right in. So this is a really short and sweet speech that's given by Helena very early in the play. So to give you a little bit of background here, in Midsummer Night's Dream, which is the text that this play is from, there are there's multiple pairs of lovers, but to focus on these two, there is Helena and Demetrius and Hermia and Lysander. And so we've got a bit of a love triangle going on, right? Demetrius was in love with Helena, who's this character, and then changed his tune and decided that he was in love with Hermia. And there's a lot of actual sort of evidence in the text to say that there's not a ton to distinguish these two women, besides maybe height. They're basically twins. So Demetrius was in love with Helena and then changed his mind, is in love with Hermia. Hermia is in love with Lysander, and Lysander's in love with her. So they're a couple, but her father does not want them to be together, right? So there's a couple whose marriage is forbidden, and then there's another couple where there's a disconnect. So Demetrius is, in love with Hermia. So maybe I might just even type this out here, because as I'm saying it, I'm realizing it's a little bit. So there's Hermia and Lysander. There's Helena, who loves Demetrius. And Demetrius is pursuing Hermia. So hopefully that helps clarify things a little bit. The moment before in this scene is that Hermia has basically been told by her father and by the Duke, sort of the reigning political entity, the man in charge of this community, that she cannot marry Lysander. She has to reconcile herself to a life with Demetrius or go be in a nunnery. So she and Lysander are sort of having this goodbye moment. They decide to run away together, but they're having this sort of goodbye, very lovey-dovey, mournful but connected moment, which Helena walks in on and then turns her to leave, right? She doesn't want to... Her entire world is consumed with Demetrius and her unrequited love for them, so she sees her best friend in love, and she's like, I don't want to deal with this. Hermia calls her back. And is like, where are you going? And Hermia, in this line before, let's see what she actually says. She says to Helena, Godspeed, fair Helena, whither away? Where are you going? Right? Why are you leaving me? Where are you going? Come back. And this is what Helena turns around and says to her. I really like this little speech, and I wish that people use it for auditions more, because I think that when folks are just starting to work with classical texts, there's a lot of soliloquies in Shakespeare, and I understand the appeal, right? The dagger speech from Macbeth, a Lady M reading the letter, to be or not to be, right? There's all these great speeches that are delivered as soliloquies, which means they're not delivered to another actor on the stage. They're just sort of delivered, well, the actor has to figure that out, right? Whether it's to the audience or to God or just to themselves, right? But I find for actors that are just beginning to work with Shakespeare's text, this is really difficult, and it's much easier to play a scene, so that when you're doing this monologue, you can picture exactly who you're talking to, and what the point of what you're saying is, what message you're trying to get across. So I recommend something like this over Helena's more famous speech, which comes a little bit later in this act, right? How happy some or other some can be. Through Athens I am thought as fair as she, right? But it is sort of just delivered when she's alone on stage. And I find that something like this is much easier to glom onto and imagine and really sink your teeth into. So Helena is talking to Hermia, and this is prompted by her line, where are you going? Fair Helena, where are you going? And so Helena turns around and says, call you me fair? That fair again unsay. So, Helena, right, fair can mean a ton of different things, but it's positive, right? Virtuous, beautiful, And Hermia is referring to her friend as fair, and Helena saying, you, the object of the man I love's desire, are calling me fair? Ugh, take it back. Take it back. That fair again, unsay. Demetrius loves your fair, right? And this is a brilliant Shakespearean play on the word fair, right? You can have fair as in like fare to refer to like food that you're serving, right? It's a dish that is being offered, right? He prefers your offerings. Or also fair your complexion, your beauty, your face. Demetrius loves your fair. Oh, happy fair, right? So, oh, how happy to have, your looks, to have this offering that he is enticed by. And then we go on to describe her looks, right? So your eyes are lodestars, and your tongue's sweet air, more tunable than lark to shepherd's ear, when wheat is green and when hawthorn buds appear, sickness is catching, right? So just taking apart this sentence here. Your eyes are lodestars, they are beacons, they are these gorgeous, luminous points that draw sailors home, that they look to for light and guidance, right? So there's longing language built in here, guiding language, and so this sort of beacon, this beautiful, her eyes are gorgeous, right? They're beyond magnificent. Your tongue's sweet air, more tunable than a lark. We're talking about her voice and the way she speaks. The more tunable than a lark to a shepherd's ear, blah, 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 is talking about springtime, fertility, pastorals, right? There's all this really rich imagery in there. But the down and dirty of it is you've got beautiful eyes and a great voice. That's all we're saying here. And then sickness is catching. Sickness is contagious. Oh, we're favor so. So favor has a couple different meanings here. Favor is in Demetrius favors her, right? Favors Hermia over Helena. But favor, we're also talking about her looks. So Helena has so far said, you're saying I'm pretty? Starting back up here, you're saying I'm pretty? Take it back. The man I love thinks you're pretty. I think you're pretty. Here's my description of how pretty you are. Sickness is contagious. I wish how pretty you was as well. So I wish I could catch your good looks from you like a disease, like a contagion. Yours would I catch, fair Hermia, ere I go. Repetition of the word fair here, just really fun. You get to say it over and over and over. Yours would I catch, fair Hermia, ere I go, right? If good looks were catchable, like a disease, I would catch it ere I left, before I left. And this is going back, sort of mirroring what we said earlier. So in this first paragraph here, right, we talk about listing her qualities, which are mainly how beautiful her eyes are and how musical her voice is. And so here we go through catching all those things. My ear would catch your voice, my eye your eye, my tongue should catch your tongue's sweet melody. So right, if I could catch traits like I could a disease, I would make sure to catch your eyes and your voice, and have those qualities that you have that the man I love desires. Were the world mine, Demetrius being baited, I'd give to be to you the rest blah, 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 blah. Were the world mine, Demetrius being baited, the rest I'd give to you to be translated. Kind of a tongue twister, evidently, but really all this is saying is that if I were the world mine, if I owned the whole world, but Demetrius was sort of offered in exchange for that, I would give the rest to you, right? I would exchange the world for the hold that you have over the man I love. I would give the world for this man, is all we're saying in that line. Oh, teach me how you look, and with what art you sway the motion of Demetrius's heart, right? I can't catch your good looks. Maybe there's another secret, right? Maybe there's something else that you are doing to seduce this man that I am so in love with. So there's a lot of different things you can do with this, right? You get to be horribly jealous, compliment your best friend / sister character but with a little bit of disdain, right? There's a little jealousy. There's a bit of that edge of like, when not to stereotype horribly, but when a woman gives you a compliment about something that she's really like jealous of, and there's a little bit of bitterness in the back of it. It almost doesn't quite feel like a compliment. It's loaded. You get to play with that, right? You get to say, you get to have that moment of, oh my gosh, I would just give the world for this man that I love. And then you get to finish with a plea. Teach me. So yeah, I really like this speech. It's short, but honestly, in this modern world, that's not a terrible thing. If there are more speeches that you would like me to break down, let me know in the comments. Anything I missed, anything you'd like to add, please let me know. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye. Good luck.